Welcome, everybody. We are here together. FirstCry and Nirvana Ma have brought to you today a very interesting live called Intrinsic Motivation. How to make sure that your kids take correct decision even when you're not there. So many of the parents that I coach, I'm a parent coach, I'm a neuroscience expert and a parent coach by background and a mother of two millennial young daughters. And the biggest complaint we have is पूरे टाइम पीछे पड़ना पड़ता है पढ़ाई करो या जंक फूड मत खाओ या ये नहीं करो वो नहीं करो सो दैट इज अ बिग प्रॉब्लम विद द न्यू जनरेशन that how do we get these kids to take decisions even when we are not there जब तक हम पीछे नहीं पड़ेंगे तब तक वो काम ही नहीं करते हैं so what we are missing in the parenting today I feel is intrinsic motivation the motivation we are giving our kids is completely wrong and that's why they are not intrinsically motivated and आज हम इसके बारे में ही बात करेंगे I am Leher your host for the next 1 hour and any question you have on parenting related or not related to this topic, please type in the comments and we will try to answer those questions as we can and as soon as I see them. So, I would also request FirstCry that if I'm missing out any questions, please let me know and I will direct my attention there. All right, so we are in a generation where there is too much of resource, right? Our kids, look at the toy cupboards of our kids. So many toys versus जो हमारे टाइम पे क्या था एक कटोरी और एक चम्मच में भी we were very happy. And complaint क्या है आजकल parents की कि everything they have yet they are not happy. Everything they have yet they want more. Where are we going wrong? We have a very big problem at hand, parents, let me tell you. But it is something which is very easily solvable in a matter of a few days, actually. You can see the power of intrinsic motivation completely transform your child. At Nirvana Ma, which is my parenting resource, and at Tabula Rasa, which is my parenting product, where I help parents unlock the potential of the kids. Intrinsic motivation is a very big pillar for us, which we teach our parents through my one-to-one consultations at Nirvana Ma or through our Tabula Rasa parenting magic cards. What is intrinsic motivation? Let's start with that. If anyone has a idea, let me know. Please write in the comments if anyone wants to know. If anyone wants to type what is intrinsic motivation, I would be happy to see your answers. Intrinsic motivation is basically gearing a child to do something on their own just because they like it. Reading a book because they like reading, cleaning up a room because they like to everything to be tidy, they like to live like human beings, um, getting up at a good time, eating, making healthy choices. So all this is possible even when you're not around, only if the kid is intrinsically motivated. When the other thing, the opposite of intrinsic motivation is extrinsic motivation, which is where the parents today I feel are going completely a little in the wrong direction. Is because the motivation we are providing our kids is definitely not intrinsic motivation, it is extrinsic motivation. What is extrinsic motivation? When the motivation is based on some rewards. ये कर लो तुम्हें ये मिलेगा ये कर लो पढ़ाई कर लो तो तुम्हें टॉय मिलेगा या स्क्रीन टाइम मिलेगा for everything even to eat food have some food that's why kids are watching YouTube and having food ki screen time milega या candy मिलेगी so our motivation the motivation we're giving to our kids for basic things is completely wrong. It's extrinsic motivation and that will never work. You're basically in fact making a big you're digging a grave for yourself that the kid will never ever choose intrinsic motivation because we have placed all our bets on extrinsic motivation and we're teaching the child कि extrinsic motivation ही सब कुछ है. All right. Why is it important to parenting? That is also one thing I would want to discuss right now. Why is it important for parenting? Is because is generation, especially the generation we are raising now, हमें शायद उतनी वो प्रॉब्लम नहीं थी, बट इस जनरेशन के पास इतने सारे ऑप्शंस हैं, इतने सारे, when they have to make a decision, इतनी सारी कंफ्यूजन होगी, बिकॉज रिसोर्सेज इतने होंगे, ऑप्शंस इतने होंगे, चाहे वो करियर हो, चाहे वो फूड चॉइस हो, चाहे वो क्लोथ्स हो, चाहे वो फ्रेंड्स हो, चाहे वो यूज़ कि मेरे को ड्रग्स करने हैं नहीं करने हैं, मेरे को अल्कोहल कंज्यूम करना है नहीं करना, इतने सारे ऑप्शंस हैं, इतने सारे कंफ्यूजन्स हैं, दैट अगर ये जनरेशन is not motivated intrinsically, they will not only be making the wrong decisions, they will start not having a decision ability, because हमने उनको decision ability सिखाई ही नहीं है. Okay, so I will just start. Somehow I'm not able to see the comments. So if there is someone who's asking me a question, I will not know. Are there any questions right now? I can't see the comment link. Anyways, uh, I would uh, I would please request FirstCry that if there are any questions, to please put it on WhatsApp. In case there are some questions, put it on my WhatsApp and I'll try to answer them. I'm not able to see the comments right now. Anyways, so that's why parenting, जो आज के parents हैं who have young kids, intrinsic motivation is going to be your रामबाण. It is going to be your tool for the future. अगर हमने ये नहीं सिखाया, especially अपने growing children को, at Nirvana Ma, I always say earlier is always better. So जितनी जल्दी हम intrinsic motivation का tricks सिखा सकते हैं अपने बच्चों को, their decision ability will be far better and their life will pan out to be much better. Logic, right? So don't wait कि मेरा बच्चा तो अभी 3 साल का ही है, उसको क्या intrinsic motivation, as early as possible. Please start. All right. So like I said, we are slightly on a different track when it comes to motivation. हम बच्चे को कैसे कोई चीज़ करा रहे हैं आजकल, जो हम रिवॉर्ड, जो कहते हैं ना, हम रिवॉर्ड जो दे रहे हैं, कैसे करा रहे हैं, हाउ डू वी गेट द चाइल्ड? इट्स आइदर वी आर कंफ्यूजिंग इट विद फियर, कि बुढ़ा बाबा आ जाएगा, खाना खा लो, या you'll go to the police, पुलिस आ जाएगी, खाना खा लो. So we are actually either bribing them or cursing them. Coercing them means making them fearful कि अरे oh my god, my survival is at stake, कि कुछ बहुत बुरा हो जाएगा, इसलिए let me do this thing. और bribing them कि कैंडी खा लो, या इनफैक्ट हम एक स्टेप आगे जा रहे हैं. There is a latest research which says that over justification is a phenomena, जिससे parents nowadays have actually killed motivation in the kids. We are giving them extrinsic motivation for tasks which are natural to the kid. For example, lots of kids are born readers, they want to read, but because we think कि हमें उनको motivate करना है, हम उनको 2-3 साल की उम्र पे भी गिव देम सम काइंड ऑफ एक्सट्रिंसिक मोटिवेशन, कि कैंडी मिलेगी, चॉकलेट खा लो, ये बुक पढ़ लो, या खाना खा लो और आपको ये अच्छी चीज़ मिलेगी, अगर हेल्दी खाना खाओगे तो आपको एक जंक फूड भी मिलेगा. तो देर आर किड्स हु आर गुड ईटर्स, हु आर बॉर्न गुड ईटर्स, हु आर बॉर्न रीडर्स, हु आर क्यूरियस. हम उनको पहले ही एक्सट्रिंसिक मोटिवेशन की पाथ में डाल के उनका जो मोटिवेशन है उस चीज़ के लिए वो ख़त्म ही कर रहे हैं. सो दिस इज अ प्रोसेस कॉल्ड ओवर जस्टिफिकेशन. So pinning motivation on something fearful like बुड्ढा बाबा और पुलिस, ये मैंने बहुत कॉमन देखा है, और on something which is an external reward like candy or junk food or screen time, or on over justification, giving the motivation for things which don't require, the child is already motivated. So we're going wrong there. अब इसको वापस कैसे करना है, लेट्स फॉर दैट अंडरस्टैंड कि इंट्रिंसिक मोटिवेशन क्यों वर्क करती है. व्हाई डज मोटिवेशन वर्क फॉर अ चाइल्ड? मोटिवेशन वर्क्स बिकॉज इट releases, it works on the reward system in the brain. Ab, at Nirvana Ma, we do brain based parenting, because if you nurture the brain, you nurture everything, the whole human being, right? Because it's everything is in the brain, whether it's academics, whether it's personality, whether it is emotional health, friends, family life, success, everything depends on how the brain was nurtured during early years. So literally, if you nurture the brain, you take care of everything. And intrinsic motivation also lies in the brain, you just need to nurture it. Intrinsic motivation is nothing but keeping the reward system correct. Now, what is the reward system? Now, how does the reward system work? We have to understand that reward systems for a growing brain, or for any brain for that matter, works with emotion feel good factor. It will never work with threat or survival. जैसे हम कहते हैं ना, पुलिस आ जाएगी, threat करेंगे, या we try to scare our children into doing something. That is not a reward system. The child will get even more averse to doing that thing. So अगर हम कह रहे हैं कि clean your room, or the police will come, or you know anything, we use this don't talk too loudly, or don't run here and there, or buddha baba utha ke le jayega. Imagine the effect on the child's psychology. It is horrible. So fear will never make that thing which you're trying to make teach the child. It will never happen. And only thing where rewards work is when a child is shown emotionally feel good factor in their uh, in our motivation. See, so what is this emotional feel good thing? So whenever the reward means कि ये task करने से I feel emotionally good, so that becomes intrinsic motivation. So how to link tasks like food or studies or discipline or cleaning up room to feeling good? So this is where intrinsic motivation ties the two, and that is why we have to understand intrinsic motivation so well. So now coming to make tying the two, making your what you're trying to teach the child, how to link it to the feel good factor. Let's take that in some practical examples, which I'm sure there is a daily battle in your house on these topics even today. Okay, so how does a brain become intrinsically motivated? Anything challenging. One thing which it depends on is challenge. So anything which a child finds a little bit challenging, because there is a scope of improvement, and if the child achieves that, there is a feel good factor. So challenging is one big way of introducing intrinsic motivation. Now, how do you challenge? At Tabula and at Nirvanama, we have something called a I can and I want to jar or a chart. So you make a I can chart. What all the other things a child can do right now? Say, for example, for a 6 or a 7 year old, it might be bathing on my own. Uh, you know, it might be tying my shoelaces. It might be setting the table for dinner. It might be cycling. So what all they can do right now already, put it on one side of the chart, and on the other side put I want to, things the child wants to learn next. It could be probably tying a shoelace if they don't know that, or it could be cycling if they don't know that, or anything which is their next dream or the next thing that they want to learn. It could be washing dishes, or it could be helping with laundry. So what is it? Ask your child what is the next skill they want to learn. Okay, so I just got to think that what is the right age? There's a comment here. What is the right age to send kids to preschool? Well, actually, I would say that preschools are the age that they prescribe is quite correct, because in our system right now, the social interaction of kids is not happening. When we were living, either it was a joint family, there were other kids of that age, or even I remember I was not in a joint family, but evening hote niche we used to just go to the park. We didn't need supervision ki mom and dad coming together with us, or a maid was out of question. So we were playing for hours and hours with kids of our age. And this is lacking now, of course, because of security issues. We can't send 2 or 3 year old kids alone outside to play. We always need constant supervision on them for security issues. So उसकी वजह से जो अभी current scenario है, उसमें social skill development बहुत late होता है if you don't enroll into a preschool. So जो preschool की age है which they prescribe, which is about between 2 to 3 years, that's a perfect time to start preschool. That's fine in case and but it depends on your condition and your environment. Suppose if you are working, you don't have any support at home, then people do live in preschool, because there are daycares also. So if every depending on your setup, your environment, if you're in a joint family and the child has many cousins to play with, then you can delay the process if you want. My son does not listen to me and only watches TV. Right. So again, intrinsic motivation. That how we'll come to that. In fact, a lot of my questions are based on screen time, which includes TV. So how do you make the child away from TV, away from screen time, and himself or herself choose some other activity? We are just coming to that. So your question will be answered. So first thing is challenge. Anything which is challenging makes a child intrinsically motivated. So allow your child to set challenges for themselves, like. I think for a 6 or a 7 year old, studying on their own should be something they should start, because I see a lot of mothers who are sitting with their children even for class 10 board exams. They're like, हमारे exams चल रहे हैं, and it should not be like that. It is the child's responsibility to study. So the earlier you start that habit, the better. So make a I can and a I want to chart. So this is one thing where intrinsic motivation will work. The child will himself want to pick up these next set of skills on their own. So challenge. Another thing which makes the brain intrinsically motivated, if something is interesting. Of course, I mean, it's common sense. If something is fun, interesting, something is captivating the child, then they want to do that. For example, using words like when you introduce something, using words like captivating, using words like fun, exciting, you can use those words to make the activity sound interesting. And in fact, at Tabula Rasa, we also have a whole week dedicated to song and dance. How to change boring things like reading or academics or even maths into song and dance comes from the fact that kids are more intrinsically motivated when the activity is fun. And for kids, fun is song, dance, jumping around. So make those things fun. Especially for academics, I would suggest that if it is for example an alphabet, make it fun, make it into a song. If today the child is doing W, make W fun, like make a song about W, make a song on watches. That's how a lot of preschools are also doing nowadays. Or if the child is older, even for example history classes can be turned into drama. You can dramatize how did the Mughal empire, what is the descendants, how to remember all their names. You can create a whole elaborate drama out of it, right? So you have to use, wow, my comments are working now. So make it interesting. So, and the best way to do it is through fun, dance, music, drama, action, art, whatever your child like. Okay, the third thing which makes a brain intrinsically motivated is something which the child finds internally rewarding, which will which like I told you, जो अंदर से उनको feel good factor होता है. It could be reading for a child, unless we have already squished that motivation by providing extrinsic motivation too early. Or it could be, there are kids who love reading, there are kids who love to study. I have one of my kids who loves to study, the other one totally not. So their kids are born with their own motivations, what motivates them, what they like. So in fact you can use this. So the person who's asking me about TV, this is your answer. Then at Tabula we have a week dedicated to screen time management. In that, one of the activity is we ask the child that what is it that you would leave the screen for. Let the child know. The best thing to parent a child is to ask the child. It should always be child led. Let the child tell you how they want to change their ways or how they want to be parented. It's a much more effective way than parenting from our source. It's best to just ask the child. So what is the thing I would leave screen for? It could be football, it could be playing with my friends, it could be any other thing, whatever. It could be art, craft, cooking, baking. So the child has to name 5 things which they would leave screen for, and you don't have to judge them. It could be anything. It could be playing with the dog, it could be going out for a walk, whatever. Ask them to think about it and give 5 answers कि मैं screen इसके लिए छोड़ दूंगी, मैं टीवी या फोन इसके लिए, इस एक्टिविटी के लिए छोड़ सकती हूँ क्योंकि मेरे को वो उतनी ज़्यादा पसंद है, राइट? So उसमें एक internally rewarding. So these activities are as internally rewarding for the child as screen and TV is. You have to understand that anything which a child is addicted to, whether it is screen time or any habit, is because it has hijacked the brain into believing that these activities make them feel good. Now, what makes them feel good about this activity is because, again, like I said, they work on intrinsic motivation. बच्चा अपने आप फोन उठाता है, आपको तो कभी नहीं देना पड़ता कि बेटा प्लीज फोन देख लो, ऐसा दिन तो कभी भी नहीं आया है किसी भी पेरेंट की जिंदगी में. सो वो अपने आप क्यों उठाता है? बिकॉज अगर आप देखें ये सारे इसमें होता है चैलेंजेस, दे प्ले दिस वीडियो गेम्स जिसमें दे कीप गोइंग टू द नेक्स्ट लेवल. इंटरेस्टिंग, ऑफ कोर्स इट इज सच अ फन कलरफुल थिंग, इंटरनल रिवॉर्डिंग, उनके ब्रेन को अच्छा लगता है, दे फील गुड ऑन वॉचिंग दीज थिंग्स. If you see, lot of kids watch families playing games online. उनको अच्छा लगता है because it's the kids का idea of fun is family. So they probably nowadays families are not getting time to play together. तो वो online भी देखते हैं, they follow these families. So if you see, screen time actually follows all the points of intrinsic motivation which we are going to talk about. Okay, so you have to find activities which are equally rewarding for the child, to replace screen time with those activities. Don't be after their life to reduce screen time, especially nowadays times are very different. You can't follow normal rules. तो अगर screen time थोड़ा सब बच्चों का बढ़ा हुआ है, so don't make it a very big issue. Okay, so but and slowly by baby steps you can reduce the screen time. Okay, the fourth thing which makes a brain intrinsically motivated is curiosity. We are all born curious. Do you remember when your child started crawling? How much you had to secure everything. Everything they would pick up and see because we are born curious. और हम actually अपनी parenting से वो curiosity खत्म कर देते हैं. By the time the child is 2 or 3, उसको इतना no सुनने को मिलता है, इतना no, don't do this, don't do that, कि curiosity is gone. And curiosity is one of the biggest intrinsic motivator for a child. So questioning, let the child question. How can you make a child curious? Is allow them questioning and try to give very sincere answer जितना आपको पता है. Sometimes kids ask such amazing questions जिसका आंसर हमें भी नहीं पता होता, but you say that okay, I'll find out and let you know, but don't stop them from questioning. In fact, at Tabula we have an activity where one activity is there which is about questioning, because that's the basis of scientific thinking, about reasoning, logic. The basis is when you question something. So give the child a pen, a normal ball pen, tell the child to open it and assemble it back and figure out what each part does. So such a small little activity, but it brings out so much of curiosity, of reasoning, of analysis. So the child, so this activity is an intrinsically motivated activity. All kids love this activity. एक ball pen दे दो and tell them टूटेगा, खराब होगा, doesn't matter. So give something which is slightly dispensable, not a very expensive one, and tell them to just open the ball pen and put all the components back, put the ball pen back together, and in their way tell you that what each part is for. You don't have to judge. Again, like I said, you don't have to tell them कि हाँ ये correct है या ये गलत है. Let them understand, even if their logic is not correct at that point, it's okay, they're young, but at least let them develop that logic, right? So curiosity. Okay, I'll just we've talked of 4 points. 4 points are remaining. We've talked of challenging, interesting, internally rewarding, and curiosity. There are 4 more things which drive the brain to become intrinsically motivated. And before that, let me take some questions. So Rashmi is saying, please share some healthy reward ideas. Yeah, so all the things that we're talking right now are healthy reward ideas. So you can, whatever out of these 8 points, whatever is working for your child, you can try any of these 8 intrinsically motivating reward ideas. Okay, so Aditi is saying, my question is how to increase kids' social interaction skill. Social interaction skill, so I'm assuming you're asking because your child is shy and does not interact much, because that's when I get this question a lot from parents whose kids are shy. So, the best way I've seen for kids who are shy to improve their ability to make friends, to talk to at least kids of their own age. Don't make them talk to kids, older people. If कि इनको hello बोलो, इनको hi बोलो, इनको namaste बोलो, don't make it a compulsion. उनको करना है तो करें, ना तो ना सही. But जो अपने age के बच्चे हैं, they should be interacting with them. The best way to start doing that, Aditi, is to set an example for them. Do it for them for the first few times. So suppose you're at a park and there is a child who's playing. You can see that your child wants to go and play with them, but they're too shy to go and ask. So you take the initiative. You go and ask the child, Ki, beta, what is your name and where do you stay? And my name is Aditi, and that's my child, or whatever his name is. And how old are you? What do you like doing? So it's interaction means something will happen, some common thing will come which that child also likes to do and your child also likes to do. And then you can introduce them that look, even he likes to do this. And that will be a common point where they start talking. And you have also shown your child um, how you can start a social interaction. So एक दो तीन चार पाँच 10 बार आपको दिखाना पड़ेगा, और आपकी ट्रिक से, फिर आपकी टेक्निक से, the 11th time at the most your child will learn on their own, right? So screen time, Charu says screen time has adverse effects, how should I control it? So screen time is a very very valid, and it is actually a very big problem. So all the parents who are worried, absolutely, that's why at Tabula Rasa we have dedicated Tabula Rasa is a 60-day hand holding that we do, in which we teach more than 40 plus milestones are achieved for the child, brain, body, health. And in those 60 days, we've dedicated more than 6 days to only screen time. So, one of the biggest milestones that you have to achieve is screen time management in children. So, yes, it is a huge problem, and there are various ways to do it. I told you of one way, Charu, which was about making a chart of things which are equally internally rewarding to the child as much as screen time is rewarding. So, get to know what those activities are. That is a good way to start. Another good way is something we'll talk about again is timetabling. When you tell make a child make a timetable for themselves, you are not making the timetable. The child is guiding you that what all they want to do in a day, and you're helping them make the timetable according to the goals they have set for themselves. When you make such a timetable and you incorporate screen time in that, then the child knows that okay, at 5 I'm allowed to watch screen. So they will not throw a tantrum at 4 o'clock that I want to watch. They know okay, theek hai, in some time it is coming to that level. For younger kids who can't read, there is a special type of timetable you can make, and you can get in touch with me and we can work on that, Charu. All right, so the fifth thing, which is very intrinsically motivating, is control. Kids love having a say, kids love having an autonomy. It makes them feel all grown up, and it is very good for their self esteem to be in a family where their opinion is asked for, even if it is a 3 year old, 2 year old child. They are individuals. You have to understand that they are as much individuals as you are. Their emotional brain is as developed as yours. Probably they understand non-verbal communication even better than you. They understand body language, they understand expressions, they understand all these better than you, because their verbal communication might not have become very great right now. You might know more words, more languages than them, but they know non-verbal communication very well. So they are as much individuals with as much advice and rights and opinions and feelings and expressions as you are. So giving them that respect, that autonomy, uh, gives them a sense of control over things. So that's why I said initially, don't make a timetable for the child to manage screen time. Allow the child to guide you that what all I want to do in a day, उसके हिसाब से आप उनके लिए टाइम टेबल उनकी गाइडेंस के हिसाब से अगर बनाएंगे, that these are the activities I want to achieve during the day, and then you help them plan those activities. So it gives them a sense of control, give them that autonomy. So that is very intrinsically motivated. अगर एक टाइम टेबल एक बच्चे ने अपने इनपुट से बनाया है, वो उसको फॉलो करने का ज़्यादा यू नो there are more probability that the child will follow that timetable because he or she has made it through their own input. And kids have a big ego like us. So एक बार उन्होंने बोल दिया कि now they're like अब ये तो मैंने ही बोला था, so I have to follow it now. So it's a win-win situation. Okay, the next thing is recognition. Recognition also really helps motivate a brain intrinsically. Doing a task in which you are recognized, in which you get recognition, makes you link that task to intrinsic motivation and makes you want to do the task on your own without someone else forcing you to do it the next time. So, for again taking an example of screen time, because that is the biggest problem nowadays. So screen time, again we have at Tabula and at Nirvanama, we have something called batches, screen superstar. So the day your child regulates the screen time on their own, keeps it under the limit which has been set in the timetable, You can give them a screen superstar badge that, which they can pin on their shirt, that I am a screen superstar. So that recognition, some kind of applause that they have got, is very intrinsically rewarding and motivating. Okay, the seventh thing is cooperation. Kids love to be part of something which a group is doing, cooperate with the society. How they love to help out, how kids love to do jharu and pocha, because it makes them feel part of that family unit, right? So, doing household chores, um, taking part in some charitable event on their birthdays, if they can go to serve food or give out clothes at any charity. So these are cooperating tasks which make them, which are internally rewarding, and kids love to do that. And you can use, for example, chores is something which I have used with my daughters and with all my clients, to teach child about healthy food versus junk food, how food is made in the kitchen. Once they know, okay, it starts with, this is a dal, this is water, this is namak, it all starts, how that is grown. We've even grown those little dals in small paper cups, तो उसको plant, when the kid sees कि इतना plant बनता है, फिर उससे the whole thing comes out. When they see the process, they are more appreciative of it. Okay, so then they choose healthier things. So now my kid loves to eat dal. Initially she did not, because we planted some dal seeds, it grew into a small plant. She made the connection that it takes so much effort to grow this dal, and how we involved her in the cooking process. So how the dal is made, you can involve them. And through these chores are not only internally rewarding. She loves the fact that, oh, I made dal today, I'm the chef for today. So that's internally rewarding, plus it also helps them make healthier food choices. So there's a lot of win-win situation in intrinsic motivation. And as you may have guessed, now you don't need some fancy props or a lot of time also. Actually, none of the activities we do at Nirvana Ma take more than 20-25 minutes, and they don't require any props or anything from the parent side. They're all home stuff which you can do at home, and they're perfect, in fact, for during this lockdown. All our activities can be done even if you're in a lockdown. You don't require any fancy art and craft. All right. So, and the last one which I want to talk about, the eighth thing, which is very intrinsically motivating for a brain, is competition. We all know how our kids love to compete, how they hate to lose. So, well, that is one thing which we can talk about later, how to make a child graceful, how to lose with grace. That's very important to know. But competition really drives the child. And it it drives a child because it has some sort of accomplishment, sense of accomplishment in it, and it is some sort of personal growth. So you can what you can do is, you can cut the bigger tasks into smaller accomplishments. For example, I recently did a video on my Facebook page, Tabula Rasa, and at Nirvanama, about cleaning a room. So instead of telling a child, clean the room, clean the room, clean the room, वो कभी नहीं होगा. So instead of that, break that into smaller achievements. That, okay, let's put the shoes in the shoe rack. Okay, you've broken it down into smaller tasks, which is easy for the child to understand. It's a much more clear instruction that put the shoes uh, in the shoe rack is a very easy to understand instruction. It's not as vague as clean your room, and it is a smaller thing. The child is more up to it, because they know it'll take 5 or 10 minutes only, and it is has a sense of immediate achievement. Okay, okay, I've done it, so I've achieved it. So uh, divide bigger goals into smaller goals is a way of introducing another way of intrinsically motivating your child. So if you want your child to reduce screen time, again taking that example, you can start by reducing it by 5 minutes every day. Okay, instead of saying that, okay, from tomorrow uh, you will watch only screen 1 hour or only once a day. Start by reducing 5 minutes every day. By the end of the week, you will have 30 minutes reduced. And अगर आप ऐसे 30 मिनट reduce करना चाहेंगे, वो कभी नहीं होगा, because that sounds really big, right? So there's a small sense of achievement. The child wants to make you happy. It might sound कि बच्चा हमारी सुनता नहीं है, but अगर वो स्क्रीन टाइम 5 मिनट रिड्यूस कर देता है, उसको पता है आपको कितनी खुशी होगी इस चीज़ से, सो उससे आपके बच्चे को खुशी होगी. ऑल द चाइल्ड डज इज टू make the parent happy actually. So they will have a sense of achievement that okay, I could reduce my screen time, and that's what my parents really wanted. So 5 minutes is something doable for them. 5 minutes is something which will give you also happiness, and it will lead to lesser everyday battles in the house about these small everyday issues. So we've understood what is intrinsic motivation, the 8 different ways you can pick whichever way is suitable for your child for each task. They can be different for different tasks, different days, different moods. So I've told you 8 ways that you can intrinsically motivate a child to link your task to reward, to something which is internally rewarding. So you can use intrinsic motivation for screen time management, you can use intrinsic motivation for studying on your own, you can use intrinsic motivation for anger management, for social skills, for almost anything, because intrinsic motivation works on the reward system of the developing brain, which is the holy grail for everything parenting. I feel if you have understood how rewards work in your child's brain, if you have hit that spot, then you have nothing to worry about. And you don't have to worry okay, today my child is studying because I told them to study and I'm sitting with them, but tomorrow if you have a meeting at work or if you have some other work to do, you are busy somewhere else, then that day the child will not study. So आपको कितना स्ट्रेस होता है इस बात से कि जब तक मैं नहीं बोलूंगी वो नहीं करेगा. So ये आपकी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो सकती है इंट्रिंसिक मोटिवेशन से. So please try whatever is your current issue, biggest thing you feel कि बच्चा पढ़ता नहीं है या स्क्रीन देखता है या फसी ईटर है या बात नहीं करता है, try that task, giving that task through these 8 methods of intrinsic motivation. Try each of these methods and see which works best for you. एक ना एक तो जरूर काम करेगा, मैं तो कह रही हूँ सारे काम करेंगे, because they are based on the brain, and if you nurture the brain, you nurture the whole personality, the whole child. Let's come to something practical now. We're at the last leg of our life, so I want to come to something very practical. Most of the people say कि all these things are very well said, but practical में क्या होता है? I'll take a very good example which one of my clients just told me recently, that I was telling my son to play football without for the fun of playing, because I wanted him to be intrinsically motivated. So for the fun of playing, play for the fun,